This is a fairly typical histogram question. It tells us in the question that we're looking at a histogram. It's worth 4 marks in total. The first part asks us to use information from the histogram itself to complete the table, and then the second part asks us to use the table to finish off the histogram. Before we can really go anywhere with this, there's a few things we need to add to the table and the histogram so we can start answering questions. First, label the table so that this column will represent the width of the bars. This column will be the area. Frequency is always the area. And then we're going to add a third column, which will be the height of the bars. And that is also the frequency density. Now we've got that in place, we can start to work out some of these frequency densities. So 35 divided by 10, which is the difference between 30 and 40, 35 divided by 10 is going to be 3.5. So we can write that in. Then 30 divided by 20 is going to be 1.5. And then finally 20 divided by 40 is going to be 0.5. Now that's in place, we can start to label the y-axis on the diagram. So there should be one bar that they've given us, one of these 3 bars, for which we know both the time, the width, and the area, the frequency as well. It's going to be this one here. The bar from 30 to 40, we're told, has a frequency of 35, so that's this one. So its area is 35. And we've worked out that its height must be 3.5. So now we can label that part of the axis 3.5. So that bit there is 3.5. And with that in place, we can now start to label the rest of the y-axis. Now we can finally start to actually answer the questions, starting with question A. This one asks us to use the histogram to complete the table. So there are 2 bars in the histogram for which we don't know the frequency in the table. So what we need to know, and what we need to work out, is the area of those rectangles there. So looking at the first one, we know it's got a width of 30. And we now know it's got a height of 1. So its area is just 30. For the third column, we know its width is 20. We now know that its height is 3. So 20 times 3 is 60. There are now 2 rows in the table, this one and this one, for which we're given numbers, but they're not on the histogram. So this is going to be question B. Use information from the table to complete the histogram. So we already have pretty much everything we need in place. We know that the width of this bar has to be 20, and we've already worked out that the height of the bar has to be 1.5. Now we just need to draw it. Okay, the recording's messed up slightly, so I now have a blue line there that I can't get rid of. But never mind, we're just going to ignore that. So we were drawing this bar here, width of 20, height 1.5. Trying to get this as accurate as I can. Okay, should look a bit like that. And then the next bar goes from 80 to 120, and its height is 0.5. And there we go. That's all 4 marks now.